Hey, what's up everybody, BDL44 coming at you another video. Alright, so this is a Laker video because we got the Rockets tonight in Houston at Toyota Center, 5 o'clock p.m. Now, from what I understand, Rui Hachimura is returning. I didn't get a chance to look at the injury report because it's still early in the morning. It's about 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, so I'm just getting up and giving y'all exactly what's coming to mind. The Rockets are on a 3-game winning streak, everybody. They are. They beat the Charlotte Hornets, and then they had a back-to-back with the Kings. Not back-to-back, but 2 straight games where the Kings were in their house, and they beat them once by 9 points, and another one was by a big blowout. So they're playing like animals right now, and that's a quote from Alperen Sengun. They just sent Cam Whitmore to the G League, which I think is just it's just what was necessary for their team, but maybe not necessary if he was on any other team. But whatever, that's going to give him the reps that he needs since they're not giving him the playing time. But they got a lot of guys that are playing well right now. Dillon Brooks has been shooting the ball like a madman this year, and already talking his nonsense about locking down Bron. So we know he's going to play that WWE role. Alperen Sengun, like I told you, he's playing like an all-star. Not surprising. He's one of the more talented young players in all of basketball. Jalen Green is starting to get his rhythm going. He had like 22 in the last game. He's been playing better this week. Fred VanVleet is slipping right in. The NBA champion is somebody that you're going to have to see as a leader on that, one of the leaders on that team. And Jabari Smith is a much improved player. First overall pick from last year. Second, actually, overall pick from last year. Who can stretch the floor like crazy and play some fantastic defense as well. Definitely a player with a very high ceiling. And then you look on the bench, they got guys like Deshaun Tate. Aaron Holiday was 5 for 5 in the last game against the Kings. There's several others that you have to take into account. Green is on this team. Londale's on this team. So you just got to respect what they're running out there and understand that if you don't come out with a physical brand of basketball, an intelligent brand of basketball, they're going to kill you bad. The Lakers have been giving up offensive rebounds in Florida, specifically 26 offensive rebounds given up through 2 games against the Orlando and the Miami squads. And I don't know why that would change tonight, to be honest with you, given the fact that they're so much bigger than us right now. Anthony Davis dealing with the hip. He said that he should be okay for this game, but like I said, I didn't see the injury report, and it's probably not even out yet. But I'm hopeful that he'll be feeling fine for this game, even though a lot of times when you're on the road and you got to fly from Florida to Texas, that usually doesn't bode well for a lot of injuries and stuff like that. It just doesn't. So that can teeter either way, and right now we don't know. But from what I understand, we do get Rui back. And that's a really big deal because we definitely need his talent on this basketball floor today. Understanding that Christian Wood has been a Rocket, played some of his best basketball as a Rocket, I'm pretty sure it would be a wise idea to give him the ball and let him try to go to work. But he's going to have a very good defender on him in Jabari Smith, so we need to be aware of that. Dillon Brooks obviously plays defense, one of the best perimeter defenders out there, and his offense is shining right now. Fred VanVleet, also a fantastic defensive player and offensive talent, and his shot is falling this year. So it's like they got a lot of good going on in that starting lineup. We need to understand that. Jalen Green's one of the most athletic players on the planet, still developing, but his ceiling goes to the moon. So it's like, as I said many moons ago, I think the Houston Rockets are one of the best young teams ever assembled. Problem is they don't use a lot of their young talent. They traded away a lot of those guys, and they replaced it with a bunch of role player mid dudes that I don't really believe in. But they're getting the most out of them nevertheless. And they still have a lot of that young talent. Now, their third overall pick? Whatever the pick was. I think it was either 3rd or 4th. I don't have it in my head. 4th, I think. Amen Thompson is out. So that should help us a lot with the athleticism and defense that they could throw at us, because Amen Thompson's ceiling also goes to the moon. But he's out with an ankle sprain and will not be available tonight, last I checked. His ankle sprain was going to keep him out for much longer. Vando's still out. Jalen Hood-Schifino's still out. Of course, we got Taurean Prince in the last game. I'd expect he'd be able to play. Don't know what's going on with Jackson Hayes, but he did miss the last game. Hopefully he'll be ready to go for this one, but I really don't have any idea. And so it's just a lot of question marks about who'll be available. Obviously, LeBron James coming off a 30-point game. He played very, very, very well against the Heat. But ultimately, we just could not get that last shot off for Cam Reddish. Was available to take an open shot, left open for a reason, and he missed it as Spoelstra predicted. D'Lo Russell had gotten thrown out of that last game, complaining about what was righteously bad refereeing against the Miami Heat. They were terrible in that game, and the NBA came back and said that there were no mistakes made in the final 2 minutes of that game in regards to the officials. And to be honest with you, that was never in question. Nobody ever said it was the last 2 minutes. It was some of that crap going on in the third quarter that was really up for debate. So the NBA is not slick releasing that statement, and we are not buying that bull crap. On this channel, check what the entire game, not just the last 2 minutes. Nobody's sitting up here saying, hey, check the last 2 minutes. And nobody said that. Nobody said that on our side. What we wanted them to do is take a look at the entire game and tell us why so many calls were missed throughout the meat and potatoes of the basketball game, not in the final 2 minutes. I didn't see any problems in the final 2 minutes, and I don't think LeBron James or anybody in a Laker uniform saw any problems with the final 2 minutes. That was never in question. So don't sell us bullcrap. Stop gaslighting us, NBA. So that's what I have to say about that. Honestly, the Sacramento Kings are a solid team, and so that's a good measuring stick for the type of talent that the Houston Rockets have been beating. Obviously, the Charlotte Hornets also a pretty good team. LaMelo Ball was out there, Brandon Miller was out there, PJ Washington was out there, and they beat those boys. So we need to understand that, having gone overtime with the Sacramento Kings, I know this isn't a perfect science, but they beat the crap out of them, dog walked them like they weren't nothing. So we better come out here with a certain level of urgency, or we're going to get the same treatment, man. And we lost to Orlando, we lost to Sacramento, we done lost to, obviously, Miami. Of course, Denver beat us, and like they're beating everybody else right now. So those are the games we've lost. We are 3-4 at the moment, under 500. And this is we haven't won any games on the road this season. So it's going to start getting in our heads if we don't find a way to get this victory, and the urgency should be there. Now, whether or not we have the bodies to face this team, especially if Anthony Davis can't go, that would be not the case. I'm going to be honest with you. It don't look good if AD don't play. Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith are a fantastic front court on both sides of the floor. Very cerebral players. Like I said, Sengun can pass, rebound, very physical in the paint. He's like a little Jokic, to be honest with you. So if we don't have our best hat on, thinking this is the old Rockets, it's gonna be a bad day. This is one of them games where it's like, look, man, I've been listening to people talk about this road trip. Even myself, I thought we could sweep this road trip, and this was one of the games that we penciled in as, well, if we lose the Miami and Orlando game, we can get this one. If people aren't doing homework on the Rockets current week, we're gonna get blown out, because this ain't the Rockets you think it is. They're coached by Ime Udoka, and they're playing well right now. So people had better do their homework. This is not one of those games we can come in and say, whew, at least we get to see the Rockets. They are going to explode on us if we do that. Okay, 3-game winning streak. They have seen success, and we know how talented their kids are. So I'm looking for the Lakers to be serious about this basketball game, and we do have some mismatches in this situation. In short, I'm not really sure who can guard who on this, from our team to their team. I really don't know. When I look at the matchups, I don't like them. Fred VanVleet with D'Angelo Russell, I don't like that matchup. Jalen Green and Austin Reeves, I don't like that matchup. You know what I mean? It starts becoming a problem. Obviously, Dillon Brooks, LeBron James. LeBron always eats Dillon Brooks' lunch, but Dillon Brooks is playing well right now. He's hitting shots, and one of the things that we like about Dillon Brooks is his bricking. He ain't bricking, so that's something you need to take into account. Anthony Davis and Jabari Smith, I like our matchup there, but if Anthony ain't playing, who we putting on him? That's a matchup that they got going right there. And in our center position, you know what I'm saying? Are we starting AD at the center? Maybe that'll help us with Sengun, but Sengun, like I said, he's a big player, physical, puts his back to the basket, smart, passes, does a lot of things, man. The matchups don't look good on paper, man. They just don't. Like I said, luckily enough, their 2 rookies are out in Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson. It really, really does make me feel a lot better that they don't have those super athletic rookies down there playing both sides of the floor, flying up and down the floor, because that would make this significantly more difficult for us if they're playing well. So we caught a break there, but it ain't stopping them from winning games. They've been winning games without them dudes. That's the point. They beat the Sacramento Kings twice without them. So, this is one of the best teams in the league right now. They're one of the best coached teams in the league right now. And if anybody thinks the Rockets are a carryover from last year's Rockets, it's gonna be a heartbreak for you. It's gonna be a real heartbreak for you. So that's the importance of doing homework, man. We do not, as I've said about Darvin Ham a couple times, I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't always come in prepared, man. I remember having this type of conversation with you guys during games at the beginning, during the season last year, and I would say, look, yeah, we think of this team as a certain way, but this week they're playing well. We had better be ready. And sure enough, a good portion of the time when I had them conversations, we would not be ready. We would come in with lackluster effort thinking they just the good old Rockets, and they would come in and blow our heads away. And I'm telling y'all, this is not anything less than that. They are playing well right now, and you had better treat them like they're the Denver Nuggets or the Boston Celtics. Because if you don't, you're going to find out that they're going to blow you out by more than 10 points. And given the way that we've been playing lately, struggling with struggling teams, I don't like us tonight. I don't like us based on what it is I'm seeing. I don't like us based on how we've been rotating these players. I don't like the choices we've been making in regards to what we're doing. In a lot of cases, we need to showcase Christian Wood a bit more. Hopefully, Rui Hachimura is 100% and give us what we need. Hopefully, Anthony Davis is 100% and give us what he needs. Because if not, we're asking LeBron James to do too much, and we're going to wear him down, and he ain't going to make it to the All-Star break if we do that. So I do want us to use our young players. The guys that the coach just doesn't want to use too much, Max Lewis, Castleton, Demoy Hodge. This is a game to try to get them involved. Since we're lacking in bodies and they have so much youth, it would be wise to match youth with youth. They're going to run, man. Even though they don't have Amen and Cam, they're going to run. So we need to be ready for that. The athleticism and the fast break points should be plentiful for the Rockets team. Guys like Jashawn Tate, Jalen Green, they got athletes down there. And like I said, they got guys on their bench who've been playing well too. When you consider a guy like Aaron Holiday having a perfect shooting game in the last one, he's not somebody to toy with either. They got guys, man. So I'm very concerned about this game. Not only because they're playing well, but because we're not. And because we've been running a bunch of stuff out there that I just think is, only partially successful. We should have been showcasing Christian Wood's ability. One thing that's encouraging to me is the way that Austin Reeves has been progressing since the Sacramento game. He's been getting a little better. In the last game, he had fantastic stats. Problem is, he also missed 2 clutch baskets that would have won us the game. Two clutch threes that just did not fall, and that's not like Austin Reeves. I need him to find his confidence in those moments again if we're going to have any success against any of these teams that we're going to be seeing up next. And it's not going to get, I'm not going to say it's not going to get easier, because we do have some teams that we believe we should be able to compete with coming up. But the next game is against Phoenix. The one after that is against, I believe, the Portland Trail Blazers. We got the Grizzlies coming up, and then we got the Blazers again. So we need to understand that, we can go on a couple game losing streak here. We really can. If we drop this game, it's a 3-game losing streak. Ain't won nothing on the road. So I don't want this to start getting in our heads about our road issues. End up like Golden State last year and can't win on the road. So, the Lakers need to get their act together. I know we're missing a lot of players. Guys are injured. I heard a rumor we might be targeting Alex Caruso from the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, a player who's won a championship with us in the bubble. Obviously, a guy we know very well. I don't think it's the worst idea to bring back somebody we know. I don't think it's the worst idea to try to go after him. I don't love his contract at this point, but I know what he can do. And, if he's healthy, he can help us. But, understand the Chicago Bulls have had their wear and tear on him too. He's had some injury issues out there. So we need to do our homework on everything we're doing. If we want to go after players, do your homework on them. Don't halfway do homework. That's my issue with the Lakers right now. I don't want to see us halfway do homework. Oh, we know these guys. Oh, we know that guy. Know what they've been up to these last 2 weeks. Know what they've been up to these last 3 games. That's what you need to know. Not just who they are on a broad scale. We need to get that detail going, Lakers. So, my concern is on the 10 right now. I'm very concerned. Because at the end of the day, everything is teetering on whether or not we can keep Bron and AD healthy, and their backups aren't healthy. So we're leaning too much on them too soon in the season. Got too much basketball left to play for us to be having these issues. So that's my concern, man. Lean on the hot hand, please. Lean on the hot hand, please. I do not want to see no 1 for 10s, no 1 for 12s from anyone. I don't care who it is, Darvin. You got to cap that off at some point, man. We don't just keep letting things go bad. It can dig you a hole. And you're going to find yourself in another play-in tournament fight. And that's just not what you want this year, man. Teams are getting better. The Minnesota Timberwolves just beat the Celtics. Teams are getting better, man. You know what I'm saying? So the Rockets are one of those teams. This is not last year. They got a big-time coach in there. They got an influx of talent that's playing well at the same time. They brought back everybody else from last year, and those guys were high lottery picks getting better. If you don't see this as a serious team tonight, it's going to be to your detriment. That's all I got to say. That is really all I got to say. So I hope everybody enjoys the game tonight, 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm not overthinking this matchup. I'm not looking at stats. All I want to tell you guys in regards to stats is that we've been giving up offensive rebounds left and right. So whatever we're doing on the boards needs to improve right now. I don't know what it takes. I have no idea, but we had better be crashing the boards as a team. It needs to be a priority tonight. Our shooting was not good in the last game. Well, we shoot 30% from behind the arc, but we wanted to attempt a lot of them. That's not a recipe for success for us. It's not. So, you know, I'm not impressed with this team this year. I'll tell you, I know we're missing some key players, but I have made 2 Laker rants in the last 3 days. I'm not impressed with us, man. I think we're about as average as it gets, and if we stay on this path, we ain't gonna make the playoffs. Forget championship aspirations. You won't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And that's with Bron and AD on the floor. The team ain't that good with them down there. And AD's playing at a high level. Bron's playing the best he's played in years. So we need those other guys to come together and get it right, and we need Darvin Ham to make that happen. Or we're gonna be calling for people to get up out of here, man. I'm not opposed to nobody leaving when we suck, man. I'm sorry. I'm not one of them dudes to say, oh, it's gonna work out. No, I believe in tendencies. And when those tendencies don't match success, guys don't lean into success, there's changes that need to be made because we can find somebody who can. I don't want to waste a Bron year, man. I really don't. He is too far into his career playing too high of a level for him to be on a mediocre Laker squad because the role players ain't doing it and because the coach ain't getting it done. That is not necessary for him. That ain't necessary. And he loses embarrassing games like he did these last 2, where he plays well and we still don't do nothing. You start looking around and saying, I ain't the problem. And so that's what we don't want. We don't want LeBron start thinking about he can't win here and then start thinking about what looks better for him elsewhere. Because I'm telling you, at this age, the patience level probably ain't high for all this damn losing. It ain't. And we lost more games than we won against teams we know we can beat. Orlando, Sacramento, Miami. You lose to these teams this year, man. Not with the roster that we're supposed to put together. Not with the stuff we doing. And, you know, it's the injuries and stuff like that. They're a real thing. But I really think that that's a testament to the choices we made. You know, a lot of that has to do with just playing guys too much and not playing other guys enough. Stuff like that. Hopefully our guys can start coming back healthy. We need Vanderbilt. We need to see if Jalen Hood-Schifino was a guy that we should have drafted or shouldn't have drafted. Can we get him on the floor at some point soon, please? We need that backup point guard so we're not relying on D'Lo Russell too much. We're going to wear D'Lo down eventually. You keep playing him 40 minutes. He ain't built like that. He going to break. It's not even a question. So it's like, man, we need to get it together. And I don't know who's going to be willing to make, you know, changes or who's going to sit on their hands and just be patient. Sometimes being patient is the way to go. But when you've played 7 games and you've lost more than you've won, it starts you on a path of wondering if this is going to be a trend, if this is just who you are, or if this is something that you can get better, you know, in regards to. But my Laker concern is high, man. So this is not just a measuring a measuring stick game. It's not. This is a game where they're expected to win. They are at home and they're playing well, and we're not. So if we're gonna beat them, we got to look at ourselves as the underdog, and we got to be ready to do the dirty work, do the difficult thing. So that's what I'm here to say about the Lakers, man. I understand this to be a real game tonight. I'm not moved by the Rockets and their reputation of being a bad team with young players. This is not who we're running into. Not at all. That's Dylan Brooks over there, an extension of that Memphis team. That's Fred VanVleet over there, an extension of that Toronto team. And that's a bunch of young players getting better. Alperen Sengun is probably going to be an all-star if he keeps this up. So you keep playing around with them Rockets. Think that they are not that good. Please think that. Please think that. It's one of those. So that's what I got to say, man. Not impressed. Not impressed. Even the games we won, we didn't play well in. The Phoenix game, we sucked in that game. LeBron saved us at the end, and we barely scored 90 points in that game. That Orlando game, we beat them by 3 and played bad throughout most of that game. And then came back and lost to them. And what was the other game we won? Probably already mentioned it, but like, we ain't did too much. The Clippers, we were down by 1 million in that game in the first half. They had 11 steals on us off 12 turnovers in the first half, and we had to come back with heroics and overtime to win. Like, we ain't done nothing special. We could have lost all them games. We could be 0-7 easy. So I'm not impressed, man. Darvin Ham, please. I know you have limited options, but you need to make good decisions in this game, or it's going to be the worst for us. And then we're going to start talking about being down 3-5 going into Phoenix when we know they have a vendetta to beat us. We know that. And Devin Booker should be back. They're not that great of a team this year, it seems, but that doesn't mean KD and Devin Booker can't go off for 50 points apiece. And then you start moving into situations where you play a Memphis team who's struggling. They can't wait to run into a team that's struggling so that they can find a way to get a victory. A guy like Desmond Bane's been balling out. I don't expect for them to continue to suck as bad as they look like they did. I don't think so. Ja's coming back at some point. So it's like, okay. And then you look at Portland. Portland's a better team than their record shows. Shaedon Sharpe is stepping into his own. Ayton's playing as good as he played since he was drafted. I mean, these are not easy teams. None of this is easy, y'all. Even the teams you think you're supposed to beat, you got to understand who you are. They waiting to see your struggling behind. This ain't one of them situations where you get to say, we finally get a bad team. You the bad team. That's the point. They waiting to see you so they can have a break. So that's what I want to say to my Lakers, man. We're not that good right now. We're lucky to have the 3 wins that we have. We had better crash the boards a lot better and stop giving teams second chance points and then coming back down the other end when we do get the ball and jacking up bad threes. None of that is acceptable anymore. If y'all don't tighten up and support LeBron James in this run that he's on playing great, you're going to lose him. He's going to go down to injury. Because he's trying to do too much to keep y'all going at 39 years of age. So I'm not feeling it. I want us to get it together. I know my attitude is bad, but it's a reflection of how bad we've played and how poor these decisions have been. You need rebounding, put the rebounders on the floor. You got a guy by the name of Colin Castleton who kills up on the defensive and offensive glass. Give him the ball, man. Put him on the floor. Use him, please. For need. Just for need, man. Yeah, I was listening to somebody talk about rookies this year. I don't remember who. I think it was Draymond Green talking about these rookies don't look like rookies. Yeah, that's the era we're in. Rookies can come in and be pros right now. You got to use them, and you got to see that is the case. I'm telling us to play Max Lewis. We're going to drag our feet on Max Lewis and then find out halfway through the season he could have helped us in the first half of the season. That's not going to be something that surprises me because I'm telling you in the first half of the season to play him. I'm telling you that now. The guy was a leading guy in Pepperdine. You don't want to use him at all. You look at him as not even an option. That is not a good decision. You need a corner 3. He's a 3-point shooter. It's one of the things that he does. You don't want to put him on the floor in situations. You'd rather give the ball to a shooter that can't shoot. And Cam Reddish. I mean, this type of stuff, it costs us wins, man. It costs us wins. Max Christie's starting to get into a rhythm, shooting better. I thought he shot well in the Orlando game in Orlando. You think we'd use him a little more? I think it'd make a lot of sense too. Christian Wood's been hitting shots from behind the arc. He was 3 for 6 from behind the arc in the last game. You think you give him the last 3-point shot to make him get his 4-4-7? No, we ain't give him the ball. We'd rather get that to a non-shooter. Like, these are the type of things that we can't afford when we're down so many players. When we're down players, when people are slumping at the same time, you got D'Lo kicked out of the game, and these are the choices you want to make in these situations, Darvin. I promise you, bro, we won't support this. We will not support this if it continues to bring us bad results. We will not. So that's my thoughts, man. I'm an angry Laker fan. I'm anxious to get some wins on the road and not set the precedent for making this Golden State from last year. I don't want that. They couldn't win a single game on the road almost all season long, and you know who beat them? We did. I don't want to go down their path. So that's what I gotta say, man. Nah. The Lakers better get their act together against the Rockets tonight. I don't care about Sengun, Smith, Brooks, Green, or Van Fleet. Y'all had better show up, man. Deshaun Tate, we better show up and outplay them dudes. And it starts with us keeping them off of the damn glass. And it ends with us taking good offensive shots on the other side and leaning on the people who can succeed in that situation for that night. If it's going to be Wood, get him the ball. If it's going to be Austin, get him the ball. You know what I'm saying? But this ain't the game to be lollygagging and saying, well, guy's 0 for 6, so let's see if he can get his first 2 shots. No. That guy needs to turn into an assist guy. That guy needs to be crashing the offensive glass. He don't need to be shooting nothing. So that's what I got to say, man. Get it together, LA. Game's at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're in their house. It's going to be a sea of red, Clutch City. You know what it is. Be ready for that. And that's pretty much what I got. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. And I'm out.